Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one that reminds us never to judge someone by their appearance, their background, or the rumors people spread about them. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one carrying the most extraordinary gift. And sometimes, what begins as a cruel joke turns into a moment no one will ever forget. It all started in a small public school, where most students came from middle-class families. The school wasn't fancy, but it was known for its annual talent show. Every year, students would perform in front of the entire school singing, dancing, acting, or showing whatever talent they had. For many students, it was the most exciting day of the year. But for one girl named Lily, it was the most terrifying. Lily was different from the other students. Her clothes were always old and slightly worn. Her shoes had been repaired more than once. She rarely spoke in class, and she usually sat alone during lunch. Some students whispered that her family was very poor. Others said her mother worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Because of that, Lily became an easy target for jokes. One afternoon, a group of popular students were talking about the upcoming talent show. They were laughing and teasing each other about who would perform. Suddenly, one of them looked across the classroom and noticed Lily quietly reading a book. A boy named Marcus smirked and said, "Hey, why don't we sign Lily up to sing?" The group burst out laughing. "Yeah," another girl added sarcastically. "Imagine that, Lily the singer." To them, it was just a joke, something to laugh about during a boring school day. But Marcus actually wrote Lily's name on the sign-up sheet. When the teacher later announced the list of students performing in the talent show, Lily froze when she heard her name. Lily Carter will be performing a vocal piece. The teacher read. The entire class immediately started whispering and laughing. Lily's face turned red. She hadn't signed up. She hadn't even thought about performing. She slowly raised her hand and tried to explain. "I didn't," but before she could finish, the teacher smiled and said, "Don't be nervous. Lily, I'm sure you'll do great." The class laughed again. Lily stayed silent after that. She didn't correct the teacher again. She just stared down at her desk. That afternoon, she walked home slowly along the cracked sidewalk of her neighborhood. The houses were small and old, and many of them needed repairs. When she reached her home, she opened the door quietly. Her mother was in the kitchen preparing a simple dinner. "You're home early," her mother said gently. Lily nodded and sat down. For a moment, she didn't say anything. Then she whispered, "Mom, the school talent show is this Friday." Her mother smiled. "That sounds fun." Lily hesitated before speaking again. "They signed me up to sing." Her mother looked surprised. "But you love singing," she said softly. Lily looked down at her hands. "Yes, but they didn't sign me up because they think I'm good." Her mother understood immediately. She walked over and placed a hand on Lily's shoulder. "Sweetheart," she said, "sometimes people laugh because they don't understand what they're about to hear." Lily didn't look convinced, but that night, after dinner, Lily sat on the edge of her bed and quietly began to sing. It was something she had always done when she was alone. Her voice was soft at first, almost like a whisper. But as she continued, the sound filled the small room with something beautiful and powerful. Her mother stood in the hallway listening. A tear slowly rolled down her cheek, because she knew something the students at school didn't know. Lily had a voice that could move hearts. The next few days at school were difficult. Whenever Lily walked down the hallway, some students would hum dramatically or pretend to hold microphones. "Hey Lily," Marcus joked one day, "ready for your big concert?" His friends laughed loudly. Lily just kept walking. Inside, she felt nervous. Her hands would shake whenever she thought about standing on stage in front of the entire school. But every evening, she practiced singing in her room, not because she wanted to prove anything to the other students, but because singing made her feel strong. Finally, the day of the talent show arrived. The school auditorium was packed. Students, teachers, and even some parents filled the seats. The stage lights were bright, and a large curtain hung behind the performers. One by one, students came on stage to perform. There were dance routines, comedy acts, and a few singers. The audience clapped politely after each performance. Then the host walked back on stage and read the next name. Up next, Lily Carter. Immediately, whispers spread across the auditorium. Some students from Lily's class started laughing quietly. Marcus leaned back in his seat and whispered to his friends, "This is going to be hilarious." Backstage, Lily stood alone. Her heart was racing. For a moment, she considered walking away, but then she remembered her mother's words. Sometimes, people laugh because they don't understand what they're about to hear. The stage manager nodded toward her. "It's your turn." Lily took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The bright lights made it difficult to see the audience clearly, but she could still hear the murmurs and quiet laughter. She walked to the microphone slowly. For a moment, the entire room felt unbearably silent. Someone in the crowd giggled. Another voice whispered loudly, "This should be good." Lily closed her eyes. Then she began to sing. The first note floated gently through the auditorium, and something incredible happened. The laughter stopped completely. Her voice was pure, powerful, and filled with emotion. It wasn't just good, it was breathtaking. Every note carried a depth that no one expected from the quiet girl who usually sat alone in class. Students, who had been whispering just seconds earlier, now stared at this stage in shock. Marcus slowly leaned forward in his seat. His smile disappeared, because the voice coming from that stage was unlike anything he had ever heard. Lily continued singing, her confidence growing with every line. Her voice rose higher, stronger, filling every corner of the auditorium. Some teachers exchanged surprised glances. One of them whispered, "Where did that come from?" A few students near the front row had tears in their eyes. That it was as if the entire room had forgotten to breathe, and Lily, the girl who had been signed up as a joke, was now commanding the attention of hundreds of people. When she reached the final note, she held it beautifully before letting it fade into silence. For a moment, no one moved. The auditorium was completely still. Then suddenly, someone began to clap. Another person joined. Within seconds, the entire room erupted into thunderous applause. Students stood up from their seats. Teachers cheered. The applause grew louder and louder. Backstage, the host stared in disbelief. He had never seen a reaction like this before. Lily slowly opened her eyes. She looked out at the audience. For the first time, she saw something she had never seen from them before. Respect. Marcus and his friends were no longer laughing, they were clapping. Some of them looked stunned. Others looked ashamed. Lily stepped away from the microphone as the applause continued. She gave a small bow and walked off the stage. Backstage, a few teachers immediately surrounded her. "That was incredible," one of them said. "Have you ever had professional training?" Another asked. Lily shook her head shyly. "No, I just sing at home." Meanwhile, in the audience, Marcus sat quietly. He stared at the stage where Lily had just performed. One of his friends finally whispered, "Dude, we messed up." Marcus nodded slowly. For the first time, he realized something important. The girl they had laughed at had just delivered the best performance of the entire show. Later that day, when the talent show winners were announced, the results surprised no one. First place went to Lily Carter. But the biggest change didn't happen on the stage. It happened afterward. As students left the auditorium, many of them approached Lily. Some wanted to congratulate her. Others wanted to apologize. Even Marcus eventually walked up to her. He looked uncomfortable. "Hey, Lily," he said quietly. She looked up. Marcus rubbed the back of his neck. "About signing you up. We thought it would be funny." Lily nodded slightly. Marcus continued, "But you were amazing. I mean, really amazing." For a moment, neither of them said anything. Then Lily smiled politely. "Thank you." Marcus looked relieved, and as he walked away, he realized something he would never forget. Sometimes, the person everyone overlooks is the one with the greatest talent. That evening, Lily returned home, holding the small trophy she had won. Her mother was waiting at the door. "Well," her mother asked with a smile. Lily held up the trophy. Her mother hugged her tightly. "I knew it," she whispered, and from that day forward, things slowly began to change. For Lily, students no longer laughed when she walked down the hallway. Some even asked if she would sing again at the next school event. Teachers encouraged her to join the music club. One teacher even helped her apply for a local youth singing competition. But the most important change wasn't the applause or the attention. That was the confidence Lily discovered within herself, because the girl who once felt invisible had finally been heard, and the people who once laughed at her would never forget the moment her voice stunned the entire school. And that's the lesson in today's story. Never underestimate someone because of their background, their clothes, or the way others treat them. Talent, strength, and greatness often appear in the most unexpected places. And sometimes all it takes is one moment, one opportunity, for the world to finally notice. If this story moved you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel,